What up, guys? Welcome to Dear Chiquis. I know that we are on the third season, but if this is your first time listening to Dear Chiquis, this is an intimate space where I connect with listeners on a more intimate level. So they send me their questions and I answer them as if I were talking to a sibling or a best friend or anyone that I absolutely love. So let's kick off this episode with our first question that comes from Keisha.
Hello, Chiquis. I just want to say that I'm such a big fan. I absolutely love your music. I've read all your books. You're someone that I look up to and that I love so much. And I'm just wondering, after all that you've been through, how do you keep your faith? I know that you always say, con Dios todo, sin él nada. I'm currently going through a really hard time and I'm having a difficult time as well learning how to trust him, especially in the season that I am currently in between. I'm torn between decisions, between my thoughts, between my heart, between my mind, and it's so overwhelming. I've been seeking him, I've been reading, I've been listening to sermons, listening to worship songs, but man, it's hard to trust the process, and I'm just wondering how you do that. How do you overcome all of those barriers and keep having faith despite all the trauma that you've been through? Thank you so much.
Oh, Keisha, first of all, I'm sending you a big, big, big tight hug. I know what it is to be sad. I hear it in your voice. I don't know what you're going through, but I'm praying that you make the right decision and that God's will is done. And when I say that, sometimes when I say let go and let God, it's part of that. It's like sometimes we want a certain something to be done, but God's will, if we ask for God's will to be done, then sometimes even if what we want really bad and we want it to be that, but it's not, it's because God is protecting us from something. I always say this too, rejection is God's protection. I think what's helped me, and let me tell you, it's not easy. It's not easy because there are times in my life where I have questioned God, where I have questioned my existence, where I have questioned so many things. Y le reclamado a Dios. Like, why? Why did this happen? Why did my mom pass away when I wasn't speaking to her? So many different things and so many different times. And I've learned not to do that because I know that God's plan is perfect. And there are going to be moments that you're probably right now, you're like, God, I'm doing everything I have to do. And still my answer, my prayer hasn't been answered. That is because the time isn't right. And I think just knowing, for me, what's helped me is just literally letting go, like saying, you know what? I'm not going to try to control anything. I'm not going to try to force anything. Like, I'm just going to let it be. It's not easy. It's not easy, but I feel like faith moves mountains, and I've seen it in my own life, which is why I've never turned my back on God, no matter how many difficult things have happened. I think that most people in my shoes probably would have said, peace out. I'm going to be atheist. I'm going to be, I don't know. I don't want to believe in anything, but I just feel that God is so good and he has shown up and shown off in my life so much, even despite so many things that have happened and so much shit that people have talked about me. At the end of the day, God always exalts me, but I think it's because I really, really have faith. Blind faith. Faith is blind. Faith is not something that's tangible. It's something that we can't see, and it's frustrating. You know what I mean? Because we're like, I want to see it. And I'm a very visual person. I need to see things. But with faith, it's just, I don't know. I rest in God. I rest in knowing that everything's going to be okay. I have to believe it. I believe it. I really do in my heart. Where I'm like, all right, cool. I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet. I don't know. God will provide. I say it out loud. I really believe it, and everything works out for me. I think it's just going to take practice. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. So don't give up. Don't lose hope. Keep worshiping. Keep listening to sermons. Go to church. Do whatever it is that makes your soul feel good. And little by little, it's going to become a habit. And before you know it, you're going to find yourself in a place where it's like, oh, shoot. Damn, I remember when I was so depressed. I remember when I was going through this, and look at me now, because you did not no te soltaste de la mano de Dios. You didn't let go of that faith. You feel me? So, Keisha, I'm really hoping and praying that everything gets better. I really, from the bottom of my heart, feel that I'm going to be praying myself. Prayer is powerful, girl. Prayer is powerful. Don't let up. Don't let that enemy come in and take from you what God has for you, because there's going to be a breakthrough. When we have moments like this, it's because something great is about to happen. Believe that. Believe it. Claim it. Affirm it, girl. Yes. Okay, so our next question comes from an anonymous listener. All right, let's see.
Hi, Chiquis. I just want to say that you are such a beautiful woman. You're inspiring. And every time I see you on TV, on media, it motivates me, makes me so happy. So I just want to say thank you for that. And my question for you is, how did you transition from being in a cycle of being in toxic relationships? Because you've always been so open about your personal life and, sharing your experiences. I just want to know, like, how did you transition that? How did you break that cycle? Because when you are in toxic relationships or used to being in toxic relationships, it kind of becomes forging to be in a healthy relationship. So you enter a healthy relationship with your guard up. I feel like it's not good. I'm currently going through that right now. So I'd like to know your experience. How did you overcome that? How did you get the help?
Mamacita, I wish I knew your name, but it's okay. First of all, thank you so much for loving me. Those beautiful words. I appreciate it so much. Okay, so it's not easy. A lot of things in life aren't easy, guys, but it's okay. They'll be worth it, okay? So when I started dating Emilio, it's about 3 years now, I also had my guards up. There were still things that I needed to work on because I still hadn't healed from my past relationships. I think the key thing here is healing. Once I healed, once I continued to go to therapy and read certain books that helped me heal myself first, I wanted to be better for myself, because if I'm not my healthy self, then I'm not going to be able to give my healthiest self to my partner. And I realized that even though I thought that my ex-partners were 100% the problem, they weren't. I also had things that I had to work on. And I had a good partner that was willing and patient with me. And I was very honest. I was very upfront from the beginning. I was like, hey, I'm going through this. I'm broken. I'm a bit jaded, from my past relationship. And I was very honest, and he understood. And I think that helped a lot. I was also in a place where I'm like, I am just going to let it all hang out. This is who I am. Take it or leave it, sort of thing. And I communicated from the very beginning. That is so important. Whether it's cute or not, it's important to have those very honest conversations with your partner in any relationship, whether it be business or friendship. It's important to have open communication. So I had that, and just healing myself, not healing myself for another person, but healing myself for myself. It took me a while to understand that. If you have the right partner, then they're going to be patient. They're going to be loving, through it. And forgiving your past relationships, forgiving your past self, even not holding on to any of that, and saying, this is a fresh new slate. Like, be intentional about not bringing that baggage from your past toxic relationships into this relationship, because it will become a pattern. And we have to understand that if we're attracting those things, it's because there's something we have to work on. So I was like, I don't want this anymore. I want to freaking stop this pattern, and I'm going to do what I have to do. And I made changes within myself so that I didn't repeat that pattern with Emilio. You feel me? So I hope that made sense. But healing is it. You have to heal those things, babe. It's the number one thing. And healing is not always comfortable. It's actually very uncomfortable. But that's where we grow, and that's where we mature, being uncomfortable. So our next question comes from Vanessa.
Hi, Chiquis. I love your podcast. I love everything you stand for. I love every advice you give all of us. My question to you is, how do I manage working with a close friend of mine without having to jeopardize our friendship? I feel like working with a friend or family member can sometimes become an issue. And I feel like I'm having to deal with that now with the friend that maybe has an attitude if I ask her to do something, or, it's just a little uncomfortable, and I don't want our friendship to be ruined. And I feel like I made a mistake bringing her to my workplace and getting her hired. I just don't want our friendship to get ruined because of our business relationship.
Vanessa, this is a good one. Because I have my business partners are very good friends of mine. And it's tough. It's a conversation that needs to be had in the very beginning. This conversation should have happened, in my opinion, before you got her the job. Like, hey, I'm going to get you this job, but our friendship is one thing and our workplace is another. But I feel like you guys are still in time to have this conversation. Let her know how you're feeling. Let her know, hey, I'm kind of regretting that I got you this job because I feel that you get upset if I tell you to do something. Like, we have to understand that we have to separate both. That's what two mature women need to do. Is, I had a conversation with my business partner. Actually, her name is Vanessa too. And I said, hey, no matter what happens, our friendship is first. Yes, we'd love to make money together, but if it starts causing issues between us, then we both have to be okay with walking away and putting the business part aside and continuing with the friendship, because to me, that's more important. You know what I mean? So we had that conversation and we're very respectful of each other. But I feel that maybe your friend isn't understanding that, is kind of what I'm getting. So I think you need to have this conversation sooner rather than later, and then just nip it in the bud and just say, hey, I'm feeling this way. I need you to know. And I don't want to feel this way because I love you. Or if she doesn't take it well, then maybe this is what had to happen for you guys to start working together, to realize that maybe that's not a friend you want in your life, perhaps. But hopefully you guys can have this conversation and, you fix it, because no one wants to be uncomfortable in their workspace. I mean, if you have a higher position than her or whatever the case may be, we have to learn to take lead and to respect each other's positions. Vanessa, I hope it works out. Talk to her. Do not let another day pass by. You need to do it soon, because you're going to be so uncomfortable and unhappy, and that's no way to live, girl, at all. All right, guys. So our last question comes from Angie. Let's see. What's up, Angie?
We love to hear stories about your mom, Jenny, stories we've never heard before. But why do y'all insist on sharing stories that put her under such a negative light? For example, what type of mother she was and how she chose to discipline you guys.
Angie, girl, you sound upset, but it's okay. You guys know I always answer anything and everything you guys sent me. And I'm telling you guys, I don't ever listen to these questions prior. I don't like to. I like to just speak from the heart. And this is crazy that you asked me this, because my siblings and I had a meeting a few months ago because I had said something. And I think I know what you're talking about. I think it was when we were on TikTok and someone asked me what was something that I remembered. And I remembered that my mom had cut my hair because it was a very traumatic experience for me. I understand, because a lot of people love my mom and I appreciate it. I love how people love my mother. It's an honor to be her daughter, but also she wasn't a perfect mother. Who is perfect? Nobody. And the thing here is, I don't want to feel limited as a human being and not expressing my experiences as a human being, things that I lived as a human being, because I'm afraid of making my mom look bad. I don't want to make my mom look bad. My mom was also very vocal always that she wasn't a perfect mother. And it's okay. I give my mother grace. I understand. I'm compassionate. I don't know yet what it is to be a mom. I've raised my siblings. But at the end of the day, I've learned from my mom. And I know that if she was here, it's something that she would talk about. And she has her own reasons as to why, but why should I feel limited because my mom is this famous person that I shouldn't say certain things as to how she raised us or as how she made mistakes as a mom? It's okay to make mistakes as a human being, as a mother. No one is perfect. So that's why. It's not to make my mom look bad in any way, because I love my mom and I respect my mother, even though she's not here. It's just, it is a part of my story. It's a part of my testimony. It's a part of what made me who I am today. So I'm not going to stop myself from saying certain things that were already public. If there's certain things that I'm going to say that she's not here to defend herself, then that's completely different. But at the end of the day, a lot of the things that I say have been public and we've talked about it before, or it's in our books, or whatever the case may be. So to answer your question, that's what it is. I mean, I'm a human being and I have the right to tell my story. With that being said, thank you for your question, by the way. All of you guys, thank you guys so much. Thank you for listening to Dear Chiquis. I hope that through my answers, I was able to help all of you guys. And feel free to leave me your question. It could be about anything and everything, you guys. Finances, relationships, health, my personal life, anything that you want to know, I am here to answer from the bottom of my heart. You guys know this already. Leave your question at speakpipe.com/Chiquis and Chill podcast. Alrighty, hasta la próxima. This is a production of iHeartRadio and My Cultura Podcast Network. Follow us on Instagram at My Cultura Podcasts and follow me, Chiquis, that's CHIQUIS. For more podcasts from iHeart, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite shows.